Hello, and welcome to We Are Live.
Interesting bring in there, Trav. It's Chris Denman, Travis Terrell. The show is We Are Live. Did you have something else to say?
Top of the morning to you.
Nope.
Okay.
We are at the Midcoast Studios. Check out midcoast.media if you want to know what we've been up to. I apologize for stumbling through the gate with my co-host, Travis Terrell. Excited to have a very special guest in studio to start off the show today. You know him from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. You know him from his Mizzou Fanboy podcast. It's Ben Frederickson. Good morning, Benjamin. How are you, sir?
Good morning, guys. Good morning, viewers.
Yes.
Good morning, Chris.
Viewer.
I think my mom's tuning in.
Is she going to tune in?
Yeah.
Ben is here. We're going to do a lot of different things. We'll talk some local sports.
That's not weird at all.
We have a Traview to get
do
to.
Some weird things with him.
We are. We have a lot of radio stuff to get into from our history with Mr. Benjamin Frederickson. And we need to say hello, though, first to our producer.
Watch this creepy shot, Ben. Watch this.
Mr. Chris Gardner on the Scared Possum cam. Hello, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, that's such a bad angle.
It's kind of morose. I know. Like, Ben, is this going to go over well with your boss?
How does Chris get an above the shoulders angle and we all have to sit here and pretend to
I'm
sit up
sucking
straight
in. I got the
and,
computer
suck in our
covered.
Chris
Fred.
also has commanded the best spot at the table.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because the side angle is totally the worst.
He's like, oh yeah, man, I'm in the captain's chair, so I have to be like behind
The show
the
doesn't flow. The show doesn't flow right if I'm not right here.
Unacceptable.
Ben,
We should have
Fred,
fought
Travis
that, Ben.
is aware of the comments you...
We've already had it out.
Okay.
We've talked.
Maybe you said he was a little husky.
No,
here
I said,
lately?
here's what I said. I said, we all met each other a while back.
Yeah.
And I feel like life is, we're just all going through seasons of life together. And this one is when you're just leaning into it. You're just leaning into the life and whatever comes with the responsibilities of it.
Translation. Man, you a fat son of a bitch right now. I ain't gonna even lie.
Man.
You a little chubby, you a little chub.
This is Chris trying to instigate division.
Which is kind of his.
Well, yeah,
Chris
but...
feels guilty because he's just leaned into the 2X movement.
Boy, what
I
I
told
do
you
to be
that story
2X.
about him. We're at the ballpark one day, and
Oh,
he
here we
shows
go.
up. He wears
There we
Brooks
are.
Brothers.
Yes, he does.
And
All
he
the time.
says, he might have told you this, so I hope I'm not repeating first. He says, I said, you got a new shirt? And he goes, yeah. I said, it looks a little big on you. Which is rare, right? And he was stressing some buttons the week before. And he said, yeah. He goes, I got to that point where I had to decide, do I lose some weight and stay XL, or do I just lean into it and go 2X? I said, so you went 2? He goes, I'm a 2X.
No,
That is the worst. I do that. Do you do this? So this is.
You have to remember, I, at one point several months ago, was seeking out khaki pants with an elastic waistband.
yes, you were.
Like, I have fully embraced 2X.
I credit you because you have the confidence to say, I'm just going to own it. I'm like to the point where I'll tell my wife, Cassandra, I'll say, I need to lose some weight. And what you're hoping is, no, baby.
No, baby, you look good.
No,
you look good.
and she's like,
the worst is.
you get that, you hate it. You hate it. It hurts.
Yeah.
All right.
Or the. It'd be bad for your heart. Like, what?
I just want you to be healthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, come on,
It's
man.
so hurtful. No, that's a thing too, and I'm leaning into as we lean into the X's. A couple years with a back injury, with no real ability to get after, but also no drive to eat healthy and go on walks and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where you get to a point when you're overweight, but you can lose the weight. Your wardrobe suffers really bad because I will refuse to buy new clothes. I'll be like, no, I'm saving for the skinny clothes. And you've just got like a couple crappy dress shirts for your fat stages. And then I would quickly get back to the cool vintage t-shirts and smaller jeans. Now you gotta, man, thank you, Destination XL. I appreciate it.
Not only that, it is the dressing room. So like when you do go buy new clothes and you try, oh man, I'm usually a 34. I'm good. I'm about to go in this dressing room. I'll put these bad Oh damn.
20-year-old girl helping you. She's like, ooh, those are a little slim.
The worst for me is like
I used to be hot.
a pair of jeans.
Carry around your senior football photo.
Look at this. This is me. 03. Pretty tight, right?
Pair of jeans. I still go 36, 32, basically because they sit lower.
All right.
But if I go to dress pant time, or like, let's say I get a new pair of golf pants.
You don't even
That-
golf.
Yes, I do.
You're not famous enough. He only goes with Ham Singer.
And so then the waist starts elevating some. And oh wait, I'm a 36 in jeans. Why isn't the 38 working? Oh, the 38s. Oh,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, that's the cowboy.
this
the
this
cowboy
sits
approach.
higher.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
change your pant size. Your gut just hangs over
They're
it.
just, hey.
Yeah. So I don't
That's how you
like,
do it in Sedalia.
and that's kind of what instigated the elastic waistband khaki was like I could let those sit a little lower and still get a lower waist in those.
Was there ever a point where you considered pregnancy pants?
They're called maternity pants.
Maternity pants, excuse me.
Travis,
And you have?
I have not. My girlfriend pointed it out as an option as she was laughing at me, not thinking that elastic waistband khakis existed for men until I proved her wrong in a Dillard's one day.
And
Take
You
that.
feel good about that?
Take that.
Huh.
No, I don't feel good.
No.
But I'm just trying to be reasonable and trying to put together a wardrobe, and it's comfortable.
So, yes, we came up with the brilliant idea of doing this show on television.
Yeah, I was wondering about
So-
that.
Yeah.
I
This
feel
is
like
it's,
the
it's
best
our
part
only
about
way to
doing
get
it-
in shape.
Yeah, the best part about podcasting/radio is that you don't have to. No one sees you, and
Right.
you guys are like, no, let's just have a video of it.
Honest to God,
At our worst shape
Travis-
in our entire life.
Travis, literally, Travis walked in today, obviously showered, very nice shirt on.
I was just I
Trim-
was glad Travis
trim it.
was here when I got here.
Right.
Even the people at the Post's patch know I'm late. Damn it.
It's literally in the news. Yeah. Gardner and I genuinely stopped and we go, whoa, what's going on? Like what's happening
My
here?
boo
Our
was
deductive,
coming. My boo was showing
our
up.
deductive reasoning skills went to work, and we're like, there are many things that don't usually happen. More so lately, it's been better. Maybe the camera has been the motivation for that. Gardner and I genuinely perplexed, and then we decided to slow play it because he was lobstering away, right? He was getting away from us. So we're gonna figure it out today.
Lobstering away.
There was something going on, right?
No, look, we were.
Did you have early morning church
Well,
service?
we were good friends with Benjamin Hockman, but now he's a best-selling author.
Oh, I
and
gotcha.
he has, I think, 10 times more followers than you. And so,
I don't think it's that.
and
You
so,
know,
and I
it's
think he
that
just
serious.
received, I believe, he wrote a column last year that
testing.
received an award, I think, from the AP. I think I saw that on Twitter yesterday as well. So I was like, oh man, it's gonna be cool to have one of those new Mizzou writers come in. So I wanted to dress nice so we can show them what the future looks like. And so, Ben Fred,
All
this
right,
is
I'm out.
the future of me.
If you want to text in and remain anonymous, we do have the Facebook live stream going. We've got some comments already, but the studio text line 314-669-1431, and you can remain mostly anonymous unless you say something rude. I'll give your number out.
Thank you, Chris.
We've got the Traview, and today's Traview with Ben Fred in studio, prepackaged triangular cut gas station sandwiches. Traview reviews something in his own way, Ben.
Sure.
And then what he does is he assigns a level of booty to it. If it was great, it was 4 to 5 booties. If it was okay, 3 booties. 3 booties and below, not the best, right?
Try
Bit
to
of a
ask the
flat
question
ass.
of what that booty do. It's a question.
Yes.
You're married now, so you probably don't gonna have an opportunity to say it anymore. But when we're out, when the single people are out in the streets,
Right.
when
The
I'm
singles,
walking,
yeah.
like
Well, the funny thing is, Travis, you don't have an opportunity to say it either, which is something.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, that's true.
Boy, you did not go back at him on that one, huh?
No, I didn't because
Okay.
he is correct in that assessment.
Gotcha.
But we try to determine what that booty does. If it's a 4 to
That
5
was the
booties,
most formal way anybody ever said that ever.
and if it's 4 to 5 booties, I
What that
respect.
booty does.
What does that booty do? And if it's 4 to 5 booties, I respect that ass.
No, it's not. That's not the scale.
No, it's not the scale. Okay, Gardner.
3.5
3.5.
booties or more, you respect that ass.
Okay.
Is how it works.
If it's less than that, you got a flat ass. You can't do nothing with flat asses.
So we will review those with Mr. Frederickson in
You
studio.
guys had these before?
What's that?
You guys connoisseurs of the
No.
gas
Probably,
station sandwich?
probably like every Saturday in
Thank you.
1999 to 2001, laboring for my grandfather, probably.
Where you come from? Isn't this fine delicacy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a solid meal. I mean, you're not going to put out the
4-star.
cloth.
It's I call it a
Napkins
Sedalia
for it.
4-star.
half a cup of lukewarm black coffee, no cream or
Yeah.
anything like that, and most of one of those sandwiches, maybe a bag of gas station chips, then your ass is back out working in the
Yeah,
field.
if you're gonna eat lunch at a gas station, this is your best meal.
It doesn't
Hit
quite give you the
this,
Comatose pizza does from a gas
Doritos,
station.
Gatorade, and the Snickers bar. It's,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
gas
dessert.
station combo.
Okay.
Good call. Good
And
call.
if you're working landscaping or doing something, that's the go-to.
Would
I
you
like how you brought
Chris
up
has
physical
got a good
labor.
variety.
Yeah.
Chris has
And
got a
Frederickson's
variety
done
here.
physical labor. in
I
his
went to
life.
4 different gas stations last night trying to find a nice combo because some of them had them, but like only one kind, and I'm like, that's not going to work.
Right.
So I called Benford at one point.
I had to tell him where to find the expiration date.
And
Oh.
and you'll notice on those sandwiches, I looked everywhere. There are no expiration dates on the packages, but they have a label that says they guarantee quality. So
I respect
Feel
Lanshire's-
comforted by
I
that.
respect
Yeah.
Lanshire's promise.
Yes.
that's a St. Louis company.
It certainly is.
And
Aren't
it says
they
quality
a few blocks east?
This might end up with a sponsorship.
Look at this.
Let's go.
Ben Fred.
It's going to get 5 booties.
Ben Fred Wednesdays brought to you by Landshire.
I think I found
3
the
weeks
expression
in,
that
you
it
guys
is.
are getting sick.
That was like one of the first shows that we did. We used to be on a show called The Writer's Block, and that's how I met Chris. And he's like, I don't like to talk. That's like my one thing I'll produce, but I don't talk. And then like Derek Gould was always on the road, and Hockman and I were there, and like we had no idea what we were doing. So Chris ended up being like the host of the show, which is like the one thing you didn't want to do. Like one of the first shows.
we filled in for you guys.
Yeah, you guys knew how it went.
Yeah.
One of the first shows was like me being like went off on a tangent about how I didn't understand the concept of Build-A-Bear, and like Hockman's like sitting next to me, like literally like kicking me in the shin under the table. He's like, they're like a massive like St. Louis company, like you go, that's good for the community. I'm like, I just don't get Build-A-Bear.
Lessons in
Except
radio.
Hockman is the one who asked the first question of our first guest on that show, Bob Costas.
Yes.
And I believe the question was, so he's criticizing you. Let's be fair. Hockman's first question was, so Bob, sports. And then Bob said, this show is not going to fail. This is, with that kind of insight.
I then use my political leverage to get him pulled off of
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
I saw that.
Good
That's
work. Look at
retribution.
this. Look at Frederickson climbing
No,
the
I'm
ladder.
kidding.
How about
I love
this?
Bob Costas. I love him elbow dropping the NFL. I hope he keeps doing it.
Yeah, that was good. It certainly was. Real quick, let's get this fair or foul out, and then we can get into all the muck that we want to. Fair or foul today, we're going to give you $10 to Buzz's Hawaiian Grill. Fantastic food truck. You got to check them out. It's going to be nice today. It was like 40 leaving the house, which means
Yeah.
what, 50s, mid-50s?
Damn, Skippy.
That is Hawaiian food weather in the winter, my friend. You got to go
Especially
hit
here
them
in
up.
St. Louis.
That's right, Buzz's Hawaiian Grill. Travis, when they say aloha, they mean it.
I know they do.
Did you know that?
Well, fine ass people in Hawaii.
They certainly are. Try the musubi, try the poke bowls. Fantastic food, family-owned food truck, and they're a great sponsor here on We Are Live. Cannot say enough good things about them. And if you follow their Facebook page, you can see all their locations throughout the city whenever they head out to different places every day. Travis,
This is the best thing about warm weather, that they're going to be around town today. So make sure you guys go to their website, check them out, go to their Facebook page as well, so you can get a look at that amazing menu. But they'll be out and about today. And as you mentioned, it's warm enough for people to try some food trucks. Make sure you support these local businesses here in St. Louis.
eating pre-packaged triangular cut gas station sandwiches is the opposite of Buzz's Hawaiian Grill. So we're going to give you the $10 to Buzz's Hawaiian Grill. WAL at weareliveradio.com is where you email. So let's get those in. Let's have a great contingent today. We'll do that at the end of the show. Also, we have Dr. Ed from Hillside Animal Hospital into play. Dogs on Film later today. Let's get into it. So you just brought up former radio days, right? What's the word, like what was your Hockman moment saying sports to Bob Costas? Let's start with the great Ben Frederickson. I really wanted to see this. You're doing hits on KTRS now.
Yep.
You do a great podcast, a couple different great podcasts on the actual radio, which we've all been. Gardner, real quick, just a check for you. How many radio stations have you worked for?
I don't know.
Grizzled veteran.
KMOX.
Under your name that you're using now.
Yes.
Let's clarify.
Well,
It's got to be.
Because there was.
it's
Can
gotta
you
be-
tell?
Yeah,
Can you tell
Jim
that
Rome
story?
used to be produced by Cash Evans.
Can you tell that story about how you had to create a fake name?
Oh, yeah. I was working at Metro Networks, which is a broadcast wire service.
Of course.
So I would write broadcast wire copy sometimes, and other times I would do updates. It could be news, traffic, sports. But I was doing sports updates on 590 and 1380 at times if someone was sick.
Right.
So
Which were not the current 590. Like it was a different iteration of it.
Yes.
Like Grand Slam Sports or something at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
So like I was normally on 590 in like midday, and 1380 was a competitor of theirs, but they both, subscribed to our service and would
Right.
get updates from us. So if someone was out sick, I'd have to do for both stations. They're competitors, so I would just switch my name.
Oh, really?
And I had my fake name, which was Cash Evans, which came about when I was drinking with friends one night while we were watching a Deadliest Catch marathon.
Of course.
And it was like the first episode of, I don't know what season, but a boat capsized. All these people died except one person survived. His name was Cash Steele. And we had decided I was going to go with Evans because that was my mother's maiden name. So like, okay, let's go with Evans.
Okay.
And then I'm watching this episode. I'm like, what about Cash Evans? And everyone got quiet and we all just kind of looked around at each other and we're like, yeah, that's the one. And Cash Evans was born.
That's beautiful.
And
So
then-
I would say over under 10, or is it like 7?
I was going to say 6 to 8. Yeah, somewhere between
It
that.
depends on what you count
Yeah.
as working
Right.
for them.
And Frederickson, you've probably
That
done
response,
hits
by
on
the way, gives you an insight of
20?
St. Louis radio,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah. And it's not just 1 or 2 people that have done that. Like there's like 40 people.
Or
who've
do
been
you
on that
count
station.
going to
Look.
a station a number of times as well?
Right. Right.
So,
sort of
I will-
redundant.
I will. I know I'm not to sound like a company man, but what I love about KTRS is they're like, hey
Oh,
man, like
cut his
come,
mic.
come and just work here.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's like you don't have to worry about it. It's gonna.
They got a great sports
It's gonna be
director
around
too.
next week.
Right.
Hope- yeah, we get to work with Brendan Weesey. I just like it's
a
like
good setup
it's,
for
It's
you.
good. Yeah. So I love it.
Brendan Weesey, my former roommate.
Well, that's the
Poor
down-
guy.
the drawback.
Is this
boy.
pre?
We really think about the guys
Pre-sober?
that
yes,
Lindenwood
pre-sober.
produced in terms of media. Yeah, Brendan Weesey, great sports director, KTRS. You have Greg Amsinger, is like the face of MLB Network,
Right.
Never heard of him.
and then you have Chris.
Yeah.
And like
guys
these
all
guys
went
all
to
get these guys like all get together. Like Amsinger, who's like, I mean, legit
Loves
baseball
Gardner.
famous,
Loves him some Gardner.
comes back, and
Yes.
it's like they're going golfing, and
Yes.
it's Amsinger and Chris.
And I know it's a meaningful relationship because when Chris and I tried to sneak into like, oh, y'all playing golf out? Okay,
He
cool.
doesn't even tell
He's like,
you.
yo, okay. And Gardner's like incredibly defensive and is like, yeah, I don't know if Amsinger is gonna have time to play golf. And
There will come a time when like you guys want to get Amsinger on, and Chris will be like, yeah, let me check with him, and then you just will never hear back.
yeah, he's like,
yeah,
yeah,
he's
Amsinger's-
holding that card close.
he
That's
does.
rough.
He knows it.
He does. He doesn't even
He
deny
knows
it.
it.
I'm protective.
Yes, you are.
I'm protective of my people.
Chris Gardner, protective of
No,
people.
Chris is good.
Unbelievable.
But you guys
He
are
is.
my people now too.
so you
Right.
protect
So
us.
if
No one
Okay.
cares enough to need to.
But if
protect
there
it.
was an issue, I'd be
He's basically
protective
saying,
of you.
if you
Okay.
guys ever get super rich and famous, then I will I will block
Right.
you from my
Yeah.
less super rich and famous
that's right.
friends.
There is no way I'm doing anything successful in my life because Chris Gardner has every skeleton on me.
Oh,
Every
he's a
single
collector.
one.
He's a
He's a collector.
blackmailer.
Yeah.
He was an usher. He was an usher in my wedding, but I know he will sweep my leg at any moment
Yeah.
if I wrong him.
We've got comments on the Facebook live stream. JPD looking handsome today. WAL, I'll think that my mom's just talking to me.
Of course.
That's the first comment. That's how you know a show's doing well, when your mother is commenting. Jamie Warrior's Fancy Foyer says he can't handle looking at our faces first thing in the morning.
I recognize that name. That's an old text.
Oh yeah,
inbox name.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've also got Dylan Palladino checking in from New York City, and he's excited that he knows we see him commenting live and right now.
Dylan Palladino, is he texting with his shirt on? Because don't most
GQ model
models-
/ actor / comedian. That's something you put on a LinkedIn
and he's like
page.
6'5".
Okay, let's get into this. Ben, you're not squirting away from this question, my
Okay,
friend.
I'll
What's
try.
what's the dumbest thing you've done on radio?
Man, there's a lot.
Or you know what? Or it could be in a scrum. It could be for the paper, like where you ask something and you're like, "Oh boy, do I need to sit in this for a minute."
I was pretty mortified when we had Greg Garcia on our show, and former Cardinal, now
This is your
Padre.
best story. Like, wow, a utility man for the Padres.
No,
by the
you-
way,
this is
he
worse.
lucked
This
out
is
signing
worse
early with the
radio
Padres.
because like my mic, like my headphones, like short circuited, and I couldn't hear him.
Oh, no.
But everybody else could still hear him talking, and I thought
no.
he was done answering, so I thought we dropped him.
Yeah.
Because there have been times, you guys know, like we were bouncing around, like
Right.
it wasn't always the most sure connections.
Oh, it was
So I
not.
just start saying, "All right, Greg, thanks. We'll come back. Come back and talk more about that interview." And he's like, I'm interrupting him like on the fly, like talking over him, and I'm looking around and like everybody's just giving me this look, like, "What are you, dude? What are you doing?"
Yes.
So that was
That's
pretty.
perfect.
That was
Oh,
pretty
that's
embarrassing.
tough.
No, that's really good.
I had one time where when I was an intern at the Post-Dispatch.
I would say younger days. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was always like you just went like when I was I was an intern in 2011 at the Post-Dispatch, which was obviously the year the Cardinals won the World Series.
Right.
Except they were really bad that summer.
Mm-hmm.
Albert got hurt. You remember he was running out that ground ball. I think it was against the Royals, and like he messed up his wrist,
Right.
and he was wearing the sling. So like they were not very good. So my goal was basically just not piss anybody off. I would go to like Tony La Russa's office and like sit in the back corner and try to like not be noticed. Like Bob,
Did it help that you were the commission's intern? Did it help?
Sure.
Okay,
But like,
yeah,
I mean, Commish, like he didn't get as far as he is by
Lagging on to
sticking up
somebody.
for like interns. Like if you mess
Very
up,
good
he's
point.
just gonna let you die. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
baseball, like, you learn by screwing up.
Right.
So like I'd be like hiding in the back, and like Tony La Russa would be like hanging out with Bob Knight in his office, and like it would just be like it was
That's
it was
pretty
wild.
What a weird world too. Like think about that. You're like, oh hey, my buddy's gonna stop by.
Yeah,
Oh, some kid that I have no idea who with the power of the pen or laptop can hear something he shouldn't hear and drastically change my standing.
That was like a baptism by fire. I remember interviewing Ryan Terrier one time, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get this question right. I'm gonna really try to get a good answer. And I'm talking to him. He's looking at me right in the eye, and like he just reaches out lightning fast and just slaps me on my arm. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I look down, and there's blood coming down from my arm. And I'm like, he pulls his hand back, and he had killed a mosquito like on my forearm.
And it took a major league infielder's
And I'm like,
speed to
he
do
had been doing the whole time I'm trying to ask him this thought provoking, soul stirring question. He's watching a freaking mosquito hover around my arm. And it's like, all right,
But he got
these guys don't like. There are times when you can like really have a good interview with a guy, but you're not going to get a guy's like best answer when you're like walking up to. It would literally be like you're preparing to come on the show.
Yes.
And some guy shows up with a recorder, and he's like, "So, what did you think about your day yesterday?" It's like
Right.
you're not gonna sit down and give him some. Like, you have to like that taught me like you have to arrange interviews if you really want good stuff. You have to be thoughtful about when
Absolutely.
you do it. Like we can't go up to a guy and be like, "Tell me everything about yourself." You have to say,
Right.
"Hey, when's a good time we can talk?"
Right.
And that will get you a much better. At least in a baseball setting, that will get you a much better thing. Man, so many embarrassing stories. Like I got one time in college. Like my biggest moment in college was I got to freelance a story for the New York Times.
Right.
Very
They were, like,
nice.
Baylor and Mizzou were playing. They were both in the top 10. And I'm like big man on campus. I got people talking to me on campus.
Telling the ladies at,
Yeah.
at Bengals.
I'm at
that,
Harpo's, like sticky floor, like I write for the New York Times once as a freelancer, and I turned it in. So I'm all
nobody
nervous.
cares less about things than attractive 19
No,
to 22
they
year old
don't care.
women.
Right.
They don't care. So the New York Times was like, look, man, like we can't get somebody to this game. Like send us like 10 inches on this game. Like we just need it by this time.
Right.
Like nothing major.
You're like, hang on, let me call my friend
and I'm
Chris.
like, oh, nothing major.
You just
I'm like coming up with like descriptive ways to describe nylon strands, and I turn it in late and have to rewrite it like twice.
Yeah.
Like after deadline because I like had a bunch of typos in it. Never called me back again. So I have it.
still.
I have it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so when I get laid off eventually, like when journalism kicks me out,
When
and
you
tells
start
me
your
to go get a
podcast
real
here.
job,
Yeah.
I will have that as like my crowning moment. That and my wing eating contest against Kane, the wrestler, will be my.
Yes.
Those are my peaks in journalism, and
You
I'm
can't-
never going to pass them.
I'm sorry, I don't know enough about that. Can you just give me a quick overview of the wing eating contest of Kane? I'm
can.
guessing it's a Tennessee thing.
Yeah. So
'Cause
he
he's
lives
from there.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Just became
actually
mayor
this
recently of a
dude-
town,
This
didn't he?
dude is now the mayor of Knoxville, right?
Knoxville.
Knox
Is he really?
County. I'm not
it's
sure if it's
Oh, that's
county.
okay. Interesting.
Big
It is
deal.
Knoxville County.
You don't have to say it like that.
That's how they
That's
say
not
it down
That's
there.
not how
you
they
do.
talk. They don't talk. They don't. You say it like you bit your tongue.
Knoxville.
No, you sound like a old war general or something.
Is that molasses in your teeth,
It's
boy?
like so bad. I'm distracted now. So yeah, he was trying to kind of like get out of the wrestling realm and try to
Right.
get in. He was doing real estate. He was doing politics. So he's like, I want to do this fundraiser for kids, like a wing eating competition. We used to have him on a radio show down there, and he would come on like he loves college sports, so he would
Right.
we had to make bowl picks. So like I was just bored one day in the studio, so I just start talking smack about his bowl picks like on the air after he's off, and he's listening. So he like gets a kick out of it. He like calls back in, like we start doing like the bit, right?
Nice.
And he's the coolest guy. I'm Facebook friends with him. Glenn Jacobs. He's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Like I'll text him, be like, hey man, how's it going? He's awesome. So he's like, let's do this wing eating competition. He's like, you and I have a thing. Like you can be, I'll go against you. And he's like, how do you want to do it?
How old are you at this point?
Oh, like 25.
That's great. Yeah.
So he's like, come and we'll do this. I'm like, okay. I was like, but I'm not gonna eat like wings, wing for wing with you. Like you're like, he's huge,
giant.
Like, he's a giant
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So I'm like, he's like, well, I don't like spicy food. I'm like, well, awesome. We're gonna do the spicy wing challenge next time. I might actually have a chance. And he legit hates spicy food. Like dude showed up to like Buffalo Wild Wings like with his own toilet paper. Like he knew he was gonna get wrecked from this challenge.
It's like a lion being afraid of a mouse.
And I knew wrestling's big. Like I'm not a wrestling guy, but I watched it when I was a kid. Like
You're intelligent, so I get
I'm
it.
from Sedalia. Like I knew wrestling, Wolfpack, like all that NWO. Like I'm old boy. So he, I knew he's a big deal. Like I know the history. I show up to this Buffalo Wild Wings. Yo, it's packed.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sure.
Standing line out the door.
That's crazy.
There's kids in cane masks, like adults, like like people with photos. Like nobody knows who I am. Mm-hmm. The mayor or at the time, I guess it was like the then mayor was like the MC, and I forget his exact quote, but it was a guy who had beef with the News Sentinel, the paper I worked for, because they had like exposed something shady that he had done. And he had like some massive beef. So the entire time during the contest, it's like the 12 Blazing Wings challenge or whatever. The entire time during the contest, this political figure is just trolling me on the mic, like, this guy works for the News Sentinel, he sucks. I'm like, all right, man, like, you're like an elected official. Like, no, they don't. The crowd doesn't care. The kid in the cane mask is like, bleep you, Frederickson! Like, you're going down! I hate your family!
Wish this was a ladder match.
It was as close to a wrestling match as like
That
every
is
professional wrestling match
hilarious.
will ever be. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to kick this dude's ass. I'm going for this. So I'm crushing the wings. I'm doing well. It starts getting hot, and I can see like the corner of my eye. He's right here, and he's behind me. And then at some point, like I don't know if it was like when he saw the kid, like something clicked in him,
Right.
Because I just hear this like bones snapping, gurgling, and like groaning, and next thing I know, it's over, and I got like 2.5 wings left, and he's the champ.
Shut up.
And that was how it happened. But I thought I had a good effort. But no, it was fun. Like it raised some money for the thing he was doing, and to this day, he's like, if he's coming this way, I'll send him a text like, "Hey man, hope everything's going well." But he's good. He's like a realtor. He's a politician. He was just posting videos out of a helicopter the other day of all the flooding down there. He's like getting a tour of the flood zone.
So he's legit.
He's legit.
Yeah.
Great guy. He also drives around town when he's campaigning in like a smart car, which is hilarious because he literally has
It's
to
like he's like
has to,
7'9",
put it on.
right?
Yeah.
Just strap it to his back like a
One of the
bag.
coolest things I've gotten a chance to do by being in this weird profession.
I've
Absolutely wild.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday with Chris Davis of KSDK, and in your situation, I'm a little bit more curious because you see a lot of those guys, whether it's in the Cardinals clubhouse or you're down at Mizzou. How do you, over time, build that trust with the people that you're ultimately going to have to, as you just mentioned, put a microphone in their face first thing in the morning and the first thing they see you? How do you ultimately build that trust, and how long did it take you to get comfortable, or I guess maybe your subjects to get comfortable with you?
Yeah, it's an ongoing process, right?
Right.
I mean, there are guys like in the Cardinals clubhouse now who I've covered since they've been up. So Jordan Hicks, for all he knows, I've been there the whole time.
Great. And you're an old man to him.
Right. Literally.
He's 22, 21.
Yeah, I mean, I'm old to those guys. Adam Wainwright, he looks at me still as I've just walked through the door because in his eyes I have.
Right.
So I think the one thing you try to do is you show up. Like that's it's such a cliche, but it's true. Like if you write something, and as a columnist, like you're gonna have opinion, you're gonna at times maybe ruffle feathers. If you're not doing that, you're not doing your job.
Right.
Like you're there to provide opinion and make arguments and support them with facts and ask tough questions. And I don't ever want to give the impression that I'm trying to dissuade people from that's what I do.
Right.
I think you do your job, you show up, and you're real about who you are.
Right.
And over time, you hope that people get a feel for that. Some people don't like it, and that's okay. I think over time you hope that guys appreciate it.
Right.
I mean, I think you think that if you do your job, like Jim Sturk's an example, right? Like I have a good relationship with Jim Sturk. If I call Mizzou, I can get an interview with Jim Sturk. When he made the comments about Don Staley and it blew up in his face and there was that lawsuit, which was ridiculous, but again, it all stemmed from the comments that he made. I beat him up over it because it was an avoidable situation. And he didn't say, look, man, like you wrote something critical of me, I'm never going to talk to you again.
Right.
He, I've since, written positive things about him. I think you just want to be true.
Right.
And you try to be able to explain your arguments.
Right.
If someone has a problem with what you wrote, you talk to them about it. And then you come back the next day.
Okay.
I mean, with like one thing I really always appreciated about Tony La Russa was like he could want to kill you one day.
Right.
And then you could walk in the next day and it would be like, just like he was with his players, it was a new day. And I think that's kind of something in baseball that if you find guys who, that baseball's a daily thing.
Right.
Yep.
Like, like Mo, I think a good professional relationship with John Mozeliak. There are times when he thinks I'm an idiot and he'll tell me that, not in those terms, but
sure.
And then I can come back to him.
Well, you're not asking about things like bullpen carts or things like that.
Well,
so,
yeah, or opt-outs.
Uh-huh.
Hey,
But I think he
just because he's
understands-
wrong about that, Ben Fred, doesn't mean trying to score points here with the president.
Chris,
Sorry.
that's Chris's most embarrassing moments.
No, that's not even
Where he
close.
asked about opt-out. And then he
Mosaic
realized he was asking or was that the other one where you realized you were asking a bad question? And you said, "Well, you know what I mean."
No, that was a different one.
Oh, boy.
That was with Matheny.
You hit Matheny with, you know what I mean?
Well, because I realized in the middle of the
He
question
was asking about the wrong guy.
that I was asking about the wrong person. And so I was, in my mind, I'm going to finish this question. I know it's bad and I know it's wrong. So I need to have I'm just trying to balance two things there. I need to have a response prepared for when he calls me out for this
And his
terrible
response
question.
was, "Well, you know
what I mean."
That went over well. But no,
So imagine just saying that to Matheny and what kind of glare you're going to get back from him.
I think you just try to be who you are and be who you are consistently.
Right.
And you have to be able to defend what you write. You can't write something and then back off of it. Or if you are wrong too, you have to admit it. I've had to do that before, right? Like, I thought the Blues were toast. Like, and this is
You and half the city.
This is
And
like,
more than
this is
half
like
the
a-
city.
Can
Everyone
I say
thought
something
that.
too? They could go right back the other
Sure
way
they
next
could.
week.
Right,
too.
right. But
yes,
as of
but
right now, they're in.
yeah.
Like, so, and that's a very small example. But like a better example, it's like Derek Dooley. Like when they hired Derek Dooley at Mizzou, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
man,
A lot
that's
of
a
people.
bad hire because I knew his track record at Tennessee was a disaster. I knew he basically got pushed out in Dallas. I knew that he had never called a play in his life. And he was coming to work for a defensive head coach
Right.
who wasn't going to be able to step in and save the offense. So I'm like, look, everything about this says that it's
Right.
a total
A poor
risk,
choice,
and
yeah.
it's not a great pick. On top of the fact that he wasn't on the list to begin with.
Right.
So like I wrote that and I got hammered for it by some folks and said, give him a chance. Okay, they had a good offensive season last year, so I had to write a column saying, look, he proved me wrong.
Right.
Like, and you don't want to be wrong, but you also can't ignore it when
Right.
you are, right?
See, now
like,
that's
you
interesting.
can't skip Bayless and be like,
Right.
well, no, I'm going to change the argument. Or
Not-
like, no,
not when you do
they
what you
weren't.
do
They
with
still
integrity,
weren't good.
yeah.
Like, you have to
Well,
be.
you could.
Yeah, I could. Maybe I should. I mean,
I mean, you still haven't apologized about your Bill Self barbs when KU's a victim, according to the
How's
FBI.
that?
Don't- you don't have to defend
How's that
that.
federal investigation coming?
It went
went
along.
away?
No, they concluded it.
We'll see.
And what did they say?
Mm-hmm.
Kansas was a victim.
Kansas was a victim.
That's according to the courts, Ben Fred.
But to that
Maybe-
point,
I'll work on that apology.
But you bring up an interesting point, though. It's the guys who don't have to get in front of the athletes, the guys that don't have to see these guys every other day. They're in a position where they can go off on those kind of tangents and not have to apologize for. How difficult does that make your job when that happens? Because
you're lumped into the same category.
exactly, you're like, oh, here comes Skip. You know, like if you even have if you make a take online that has some evidence and you back it up, you're still lumped in with the Skip Baylesses and the Clay Travises of the world for whatever reason because it's a quote unquote hot take. How difficult does that make your job when you have to sit down with these guys and they see you in the same lane as them?
Well, I think it's the same thing we all deal with, right? Like when you're in media, there are times when you get labeled as the worst of media.
Right.
We all go through that in different phases. I think you just try to ask people to judge you as you, not anyone else. It is easier. It's easiest to throw the biggest grenade when you're when you're not in the foxhole,
Right.
right? And I don't mean that as like I'm not going to write something critical because I'm around,
Right.
But like when you know these people in a professional
There's
way,
nuances.
It does.
Exactly.
It does
Everything.
it does impact how you write, and you might have an opinion, but you might write it in a way like I might say I thought the Cardinals should go after Bryce Harper.
Right.
I think the biggest two concerns about their team right now are in the corner outfields.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Carlos Martinez because they have pitchers falling out of their ears.
Right.
But like if the season goes on its head, then it's going to be a fair question to say what would it have looked like if they would have made a serious push for Bryce Harper.
Right.
I can have that opinion and write it, I think, strongly without calling, saying that Bill DeWitt doesn't care about winning.
Right.
Like you can't say that Bill DeWitt doesn't care about winning. The Cardinals have been third
You
in
can challenge
wins.
his strategy.
They've been third in wins
Yeah.
since they won their last World Series. So they haven't won a World Series, but they've still been third in wins. And the two
Right.
teams above them haven't won a World Series either, the Dodgers and the Nationals. So
Right.
like you just can't you can't make claims. Like I know that gets attention, and I
Sure.
know that's what some fans want to hear, but it's not true. So I think trying to be, have an opinion, back it up, be more nuanced. It doesn't always maybe get the attention, but I do
Sure.
feel like it gets the respect for people who are actually paying attention. That's
Right.
the hope, at least.
And thankfully, you're not at an employer that's like, get those clicks up, dude. I mean, I'm sure
well, every
you guys have to do it.
journalism business is like that. But
True,
I mean,
but
they're not at
it's
like do it
quite
for the
obvious they're
sake
not
of,
up in your face. Like,
Right.
you don't have to go be like, I don't know if you saw, there might be something happening personally with one of these players. Just like, you don't have to turn into a gossip columnist.
Right, and I think they want what the paper wants is they want us to hit on relevant topics that matter
Right.
to sports fans, and as a columnist, they want you to take an opinion. They want
Right.
more times than not, they want you to have a stance on something. Now that's not going to be everything I write. Like you might pull off and do a feature column or something about
Right.
a local high school
A
kid,
slideshow.
maybe.
Boy, do you
Talk
remember
about
whenever
getting those
Travis
clicks
made
up.
it?
I did.
Travis
I
made a joke. What? Tell
I
tell
made the
story.
joke. I think it was I don't know, maybe a couple years ago when we were.
We
at
were
the
really,
station.
really hardcore. Basically, here's the deal, too. We're all close. We respect each other. We had a different office at the time where we were going to do a version of this a few years ago that didn't work out. These guys recorded at our private space all the time. We were buddies, and what buddies do is punch each other in the arm when they see each other.
Right.
So whenever you're in media, you do it online.
But then again, I had to take a step back and I understood where the postage patch was coming
He's
from.
still
but-
covered. He thinks he's going to get a job or something. I don't know.
But to that, I made a joke about Ben Fred, and he had done a slideshow. I don't even remember what it was about. I don't know if it may have been Cardinal related.
I've never done a memorable slideshow.
And I put it in the comment section. I think I said something along the lines like, "Nice slideshow, pal." I was like, "You really got your money's worth from going to Mizzou journalism," and clearly just giving Ben Fred a hard time.
Sarcasm.
And I forgot who the administrator was, but he came to your defense so
It
fast.
was Roger Hensley.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, and
He said he's essentially your boss?
Yeah.
yeah, so he came to Ben Fred's defense like fiery, and I didn't know what to say.
It
but
was
then
a joke, dude.
It was, and I was like, oh, I'm kidding. I love Ben Fred, but I understood where he was coming from because if you've ever taken the time to go into the comment section of any article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, there are some interesting people.
It's not
in there.
even the Post. You see the articles out there now about Facebook moderators and the PTSD
Oh
that
my
they're going
gosh.
through and how they're
gosh.
coping with it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm appalled, and this is big picture stuff, but dude, the way that we talk to each other, and I'm not.
No. To that
but
point, I'm glad you brought that
the
up.
way that people talk to each other on the internet, man, is crazy, and I have to use it for my job. We all do, right? At least we have convinced ourselves we have to.
These people haven't been punched. Like, you grew up in a small town. Like, these people haven't been punched in the face.
Dude, there are a lot of people who could get a lot from being punched in the
Right.
face.
It really is.
I'm serious, and
It
I'm not gonna meet me. What's that guy like meet me in Temecula guy? Like,
yeah,
I'm
the
not
guy
gonna
was
do
like up
that.
there.
Like,
You're not going to challenge someone to a fight
I'm not
in
going to
another
do
town.
that. But this whole
That's the
this
quote of the
whole-
interview right now. I'm going to
Yeah.
put that on the ticker.
Yeah.
Ben Fred, a lot of people could be punched in the face.
Right? That's it.
This whole generation that's growing up of talking what I would say talking. I think I could say this: talking out of your ass,
Yeah.
never having to pay the consequences
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
I heard
it's
a great
bad
thing.
trend.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, so I can't credit them, but they did compare it to road rage. You're driving by quickly, you react fast, and most of the times it's not going to be a big consequence, right? So it's
Exactly.
kind of that same
Yeah, and
place
it's-
that it's coming from.
And it is I see it everywhere, politically, social media. There's no room for anyone in the middle.
So can we agree
It's just
that
extremes. It's just
Right.
extremes. You you either think the Cardinals are, you see no problem with their ways, or you think that DeWitt is carpetbagging to sell the team,
Right.
and it's just all a big long con. and anyone who doesn't call it out every day in the Post-Dispatch is a water carrying, lackey for the team who's on the payroll. Like there is no in between.
So why are you carrying the Cardinals' water?
Exactly.
Right, that was my next question. Thank you, Gardner.
But I mean, there is,
And I'm gonna take from this.
and I think there is in the middle ground. I just think those people are just so disenchanted with the discussion that they're like, I'm just going to watch.
That's what I do. I tap out. I'm like,
and I
don't
do
have
that
time for
too.
this.
Like
Yeah.
I probably am on social media as little now as I have been for my job. Now I have to be on a lot,
Right.
But like I get less out of it now than I ever have.
Right.
I've tried to start putting it away when I write. I try to promote like links and stuff like that, but this whole trying to cater to that crowd, it's so pointless because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like it's literally a river. Like I
Right.
started thinking of like Twitter is like a river that you can you can make a splash, but it's going to be gone in an instant.
Absolutely.
What does it do? None of us are getting paid for it. At least I'm not. Maybe I'm
Right.
doing it wrong. Like
Yeah.
so, like it can get me fired in a heartbeat.
But
it's not going to make me more money.
No,
Right.
It's a great point. And,
That is a very good point.
And it's something that needs to change. So what we can take from this is Ben Fred wants capitalist violent punishment
Yes.
for folks that
Yes.
react poorly online.
That is
Did we get
exactly
that?
what he said. He's
Can't there be
sponsoring
like
that.
they have like there should just be like a challenge button where it's like if someone really gets you going, you just say, all right, let's just do this.
Yes. Now, the only
I don't
thing
feel like
is
that's
here in
the
St.
best-
Louis,
Send me location.
that will end up like a high noon situation.
Speaking of getting punched in the face the other day, we were like talking in the office about the last time we were in a fight.
Yes.
And then I come walking
You
into
guys
the
were.
room.
Yeah.
And then Travis goes, "When's the last time you were in a fight, Gardner? You ever been in a fight?" And I go, "No, I haven't really been in a fight." I go, "I've been punched in the face a few times, though."
And he said it so calmly, like it was just, oh no, I
As a matter of fact,
punch in the face though
Yeah.
several times.
Didn't
I'm like,
really-
excuse me, what?
A chance really to get in there.
I feel like Chris has probably started a lot of fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Conveniently-
Small dog nips the big
conveniently
dog.
exited.
There was one time a fight was on the horizon. You guys remember Laclede Street at SLU? Mm-hmm. When that bar was open in that parking lot,
It was a
there
bad
was
parking lot.
A group of guys, two had knives, and I was in the other group where a friend was going to get the gun.
Oh, dear God.
And I looked
Chris
at him
before we
and
knew
I
that.
go, "Don't do this." I go, "I have a set of keys. That's all I've got."
Don't do this.
I was trying to I'm like, let's just get out of here. I know what the guy said was terrible. I go, "But I have keys. They have knives. You have a gun. I'm not going to be a winner in this in any way." And we were able to sneak out of there. But that's
And it was all because somebody drank out of someone else's Busch Light pitcher, I'm sure. From the text line, hey buddy, from Hunchback of Von Castle, and does a side-by-side of Ben Frederickson and Mrs. Doubtfire.
no.
It's shockingly similar.
I don't have that one, but I got this.
Let's see what he
Just,
has.
from
Oh my
Ben
God.
Fred's youth.
Were those your wrestling days?
Yeah, it was in that time frame.
Are we excited about
I can't. If I told you the story behind that picture, you wouldn't believe me. So I don't even think it's worth it.
I think the best
I mean,
thing is
we
if
got time.
like once you eventually commit your white man domestic terrorist attack.
Yeah, where's the
that's
tiki
the
torch
photo
in
they
that?
get to use.
Yeah,
that is
that's true.
outstanding.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I got to give you
Yeah.
that. Like, how did they not
Were there
see
any
this coming?
signs that
I swear to God, and I can get confirmation on this. This picture, I can't even make it up. Picture was taken. I was on the way home. I was like a freshman in high school. We went on like a church mission trip. I'm not kidding. And decided, like, my buddy and I said, like, we're going to do a Mohawk. So we did it on a church mission trip. You're not going to believe me. On the way home from this, on the road up to my house, we found like abandoned. You know, like how it is, Farmington. Like, dude, people just throw animals.
Dude,
if you don't want a dog,
what is going
you just
on
toss
with people?
it in the ditch.
You do. You'll just come upon. It used to be too, and it was different. With now, social media is pretty good. People be like, "I just saw this, blah blah blah," and then you coordinate, and somebody goes and helps it. No, this was just left to people who happen to live in the country.
Yeah.
Some trailer trash, whatever, drops us literally like a pillow sack of kittens, and
happens.
sometimes they would try and throw them in a river and miss. So you just have a bucket of kittens hanging out, and then all of a sudden it's like if you have half a heart, you're like, I got to do something. One of my dogs is going to rip these things
So this
up.
is what happens. And that's that story. And I just happen to have an unfortunate mohawk, and it looks like I'm holding the cats by their neck.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it
did
does
you use
look.
a brick?
It definitely
Really
looks like
looks
I'm planning some sort of
Well, did you use a brick?
domestic terrorism attack.
A brick or a
I
rock?
understand how it looks.
Brick or a
I
rock
know.
to put them out of the misery?
We got them homes. We found them a place to go. But I realized what it looks like.
Did you show this to your wife before or after you got
She
married?
I don't think has seen that until Chris tweeted it. Actually,
Yeah, Gardner, let's jump into this. So we'll do some, we'll finish out the hour with some hardcore sports talk. But real quick, Gardner, you have an interesting relationship with Ben Fred. You've obtained photos that you use for blackmailing against
Well,
him at
that
times?
was one of them at one point. I have another one from when he was even younger.
Oh dear.
What did you have, beads in your hair from a trip? I don't have that. I didn't bring that one
How
with
else are
me.
you supposed to have a good time when you're in Porto Vallarta?
We did a Cancun trip when I was young, and I
Close?
wanted the, like you go to Cancun and you want the beads, right?
Right.
Well, my hair was like as long as it is now. I grew it out to get beads in my hair.
The Michael Scott joke was so perfect when
If
he had
you
the
were-
one
Like
little
that was
bead.
me. I was
Yeah.
Michael
Like you
Scott.
were-
I was Michael Scott.
You were a little portly as a kid.
I was husky. My grandma would always say I was husky, and I would ask my mom, "Am I really husky?" And my mom would say, "No, no." And then my mom would cut the husky tag out of my jeans. Like, there's levels to this stuff.
That's grade A parenting.
She is a great
man.
mom.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Probably a
That
little
is.
too easy, Gardner.
No, she
Would she
ironed.
scream at other kids if they were terrible to you?
No, but
Oh,
it's just like
I bet
just
you
like
would.
that kind of stuff.
She
you know?
ironed my pants the day of your wedding.
She did.
Oh, how cool.
Chris, the usher, shows it to my pants. Goes to my wedding without an ironed suit.
No, my pants
And he's like walking
got
around.
wrinkled
He's like walking
in the
around. being
carry.
like, I wonder if I can find a dry cleaner the day of the wedding. It's a Sunday. You're not gonna find a dry cleaner.
You got married on a Sunday. It's my fault.
Yeah. I did. Holiday weekend too.
A holiday
You
weekend.
selfish
cheap.
bast.
Hey, you could have gone somewhere else.
Yeah,
that was our rule. If you want to go somewhere else, go somewhere else.
Man.
And we were on a cliff, basically.
Oh, you
we
guys
were on
in-
a bluff.
You guys in Roachport, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful area.
I almost passed out and
Roachport,
fell off
Missouri.
into the river.
It was a little warm.
It was like 95.
Yeah, what was that?
and
Was
humid and-
that May, June wedding? What
Yeah.
were you?
Do you
May
It looked like I
27th.
was
Nice.
crying, but it was just the salt in my eyes from the sweat going down. So I'm just going to go with it. Looks like I'm really emotional right now.
Do you know how many sorority women have cried in that same
Oh,
parking
I've
lot?
cried in that parking lot.
Yeah. I don't even know why I'm upset.
Yeah. I'll give you one wedding tip.
Yeah.
And this is something Derek Gould gave to me. So when you get married, there's going to be this urge, like when you go to everything, like initially you put on that suit, right? Like the first thing you think is like, when can I take this thing off?
Right.
Like, leave your jacket on.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you, for your photos through the whole night, don't take
Sweat.
your jacket off, because when you take the jacket off, first of all, you've sweated through
Right.
everything. Second of all, like it's not a good look for pictures.
No.
There's
No.
billowing. There's
Yeah.
Yes.
you want to leave the jacket on through the whole night. That was what Derek Gould told me. I did it, and I'm so thankful he told me that. So I'm passing it on.
That's dope.
I know that none of the people in the text line will get married, but there might be someone out there on
Maybe
Facebook. who-
Somebody on Facebook.
Here, I got
or
another
something.
thing. This is not an image. This is what people call a GIF, I believe.
I
A
say GIF.
GIF, yeah.
No, it's GIF.
Yeah, the creator called it a
RG.
GIF.
The
There
guy
you
who
go.
created this
Oh,
is weighed in
wow.
on it.
That is you. My goodness, at the old
Got your
920
mom
studio.
jeans on.
Those
That
are-
is outstanding. Look at you.
That is somebody's rambunctious aunt,
It
and
sure
she
is.
has just won a free comedy show that she's taking her family
Let's
to.
do it again. Let's do it again.
Look at Ben Fred.
Oh, this is amazing. Oh my gosh.
That's tough.
Like my daughter made
this
lead
is-
at the play at school.
Our friend Seth is questioning on the
Hmm.
Facebook feed about your family murdering dogs, and
We don't have to go down that. We all know the story about
Long-
Ben Fred,
long
He also
driveways.
goes jacket off, he
aka
says.
White Michael Vick.
That's tough. On the sports landscape, Travis, do you have questions? I have some questions. Mine regarding, let's just start with the free agency stuff. Overall, as a whole, Major League Baseball, it looked like whenever Wainwright did the very, seen interview with Tim McKernan on a stream, I mean, that went international, saying that he's like, hey, hope it doesn't happen mid-season, but get ready for a strike. It felt like it wasn't clear when he was saying it, but then now Machado's signed, Harper's supposedly close to being signed. Where are we at? And I know you're not in the mix necessarily, but your feel for major leaguers and how they feel about contracts right now.
Yeah, I think Wainwright's concerns are a lot of people's concerns,
Right.
and his comments were spread about because he has such a good way of talking about the game, and his love for the game is clear, but he's also worried about the state of it. And the owners are saying different things. The owners are saying this is just, hot air. This is not going to happen. There's time, and there is time. Look, the new CBA will not have to be hammered out until the 2021 season ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is time, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of productive conversations between the two sides. The worst thing you can do, I think, is to say that Harper and Machado are going to be what the free agency is or isn't about right now. Those guys are complete outliers. They're
Right.
26.
Right.
They're both on a Hall of Fame path. They are going to get paid a lot of money
Right.
for a significant chunk of years, no matter when they sign or who signs them. Now, they might not get as much as they want. And that's a fair point to bring up because the players are saying, look, the game is making more money.
Right.
And they can see that the pie is growing. And they're wondering why they're not getting a bigger piece of the pie through free agency. Well, the reason they're not is because there's no more steroids in the game for the
Right.
most part, and guys are not good after 30 for the most part.
Right.
So it used to be that the game was set up so when you hit free agency, that was your big bite of the apple.
You could get a large contract at 34 years old.
No doubt. Because there were guys who were playing well at 34
Yep.
years old, and now, for the most part, guys aren't. There are a
Right.
few outliers, but they're not. It's not the norm. So I think that the players are saying, "How can we renegotiate this?" Now, there's two ways to do this. One is to basically call the owners cheap and say they should spend more money on bad contracts. That's a bad play.
Right.
The better way is to figure out how they get to free agency sooner. They should try to track service time. They should try to, maybe if you go to arbitration twice, you should be able to be a free agent. Like
Right.
they have to work with the owners, and it's going to be hard because the owners don't want to give that up.
No.
They want to have cheap, cost-controlled players.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they
you have
to-
teams like the Royals that they make more money every year.
Sure,
And they're not actively
look
trying
at
to
Chris
get better.
Bryant. I mean, the Cubs banked him
Yeah.
to save his service time,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
he's speaking out about it happening to other guys. Those are going to be the guys who change it. So the players have to say, look, if you're telling us that 30 is the new 40, so we need to find a way to reach free
Right.
agency sooner because we can take more advantage. I think you're also going to see more and more guys jump on extensions. Like you're going to see what Nolan Arenado did
Right.
yesterday. Because
Well,
I don't know
Miles
that-
Nicholas.
I don't know. I don't know that he wants to be in that free agent market. I think that's a fascinating thing with Goldschmidt, right?
Right.
The Cardinals want to extend him. They've made they've been pretty upfront about that. They would not have traded for him if they didn't want to try to.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's looking around going, look at all these guys accepting extensions. Look at the wait for Harper and Machado, who are 26. He's going to be 32.
Right.
Great player,
Right.
but he's going to be beyond his prime according
Right.
to the analytics, what the analytics are going to say.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be interesting to listen to Cardinals answer the questions, though,
Yes.
with knowing what we know about the financial situation with every Major League Baseball team. No Machado, likely no Harper, and no Arenado. I mean, I guess Trout in a couple of years, but I mean, if a team is going to complain about where they have to pick in the draft and that's hurt where they have developed some players and
Right.
talent, then if you don't go out and do something big
Right.
in free agency, that's a conversation that has to be had.
Well, I don't think the Cardinals are ever going to feel like they have to go out and get that top free
I
agent.
agree.
They let that guy walk.
Yeah.
The guy they would have had to get was Albert, and they got to a point where the Angels were offering something they didn't feel comfortable with. And what did that experience teach them? It taught them they are glad they let him walk.
Yeah.
So that was the
But-
guy
and-
that you raised, homegrown. You
Yeah.
produced him. That was their baby. I mean, that was
There's-
the guy. They are in love with their own prospects. They love their farm system. That farm system produced a guy who was at the time the best player in baseball, the best hitter, and they gave him what they thought was a big deal. And he said, "I can get bigger," and they said, "We're not going there." And he went away. And if you put him on a lie detector now, everyone in that front office would tell you they're glad that he's not a Cardinal because they wouldn't want to be anchored to that contract.
Right, and that's why I think a
So
lot of the
if they-
contracts we're
if they
seeing
can
right now
feel-
are different, though.
If they can feel
because
that
of
way,
age.
if they can feel that way about Albert, then they're not going to
But
talk themselves into having to go overspend to get anybody.
Okay, and that's in general for anybody. But
But I think
I can't compare Albert to Machado or Harper. I don't think you can, because of the age at what time when these guys are free agents. There's a big difference there, especially when you're talking about when the teams talk about the risk involved of getting a long-term deal done with guys like that. If you're talking about how guys progress through age, then when a guy's a free agent at 20, I mean, how old does he have to be a free agent? How young does he have to be for you not to assume risk? You're going to assume risk in anything.
Well,
so I just don't. When I hear that, I'm not on board. When I hear that, I don't agree with it.
But I mean, I'm not arguing against it.
I'm trying to start a fight with you.
I'm just
that's
saying.
obvious.
I'm saying at some point, like you have to look at what the Cardinals have done, and what their model is, and stop. We have to stop saying this is going to be the guy they're going to go get. If it's not Harper, then it's going to be Arenado, and if it's not Arenado, it's going to be Trout. At some point, it's like, all right, they're not going to do it.
Right.
Okay, because it's going to be more money than they're willing to commit to one guy.
When they do their
that
necessary
length of time.
arbitrage, yes.
You know, the Cardinals would rather do 3 deals like they're going to try to do with Paul Goldschmidt than go and spend that money on Harper. Now,
Great point.
The question can be asked, why are they willing to spend 5 years, $150-ish million to try to get Goldschmidt, who's going to be, you know, by the time that contract ends, he'll be the same age Harper would have been if you gave him 10.
Right.
And I think that's what
At a less premium position.
fans have said, you know, what's the deal with that? Well, 5 years is less risk.
Right.
And also, you know, that's an easier contract to get out of if something goes wrong.
True.
If Bryce Harper give him a 10-year deal and he blows out his ACL in season 1 and he's never the same player, then that's a much bigger weight. Now, I think the Cardinals are you know, they're flirting with something kind of dangerous here. They're giving big-ish extensions to guys who are what baseball says are past their prime window.
Right.
Michaelis, I think he's 31, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have the Goldschmidt attempt. He's going to be 32 after the season. Molina was an example of that.
Yeah.
These aren't long deals, but they're significant chunks of money. Fowler,
Right.
And Fowler has been them probably worse than imaginable leading into this season. We'll see what he does this year, but they're kind of saying, okay, we're not going to go, 10 years for a 26-year-old, but let's try to pick and find the guys who are on the other side of 30 for good deals that aren't as long. Mm-hmm. And that gives them time to try to develop their next Pujols.
Right.
I mean, they're always going to prioritize sustained success. They're always going to prioritize their farm system. So this notion that they're going to all of a sudden pivot and go chase Mike Trout, maybe it happens, but we haven't seen any evidence.
I haven't
of
seen
that.
the evidence of it. I agree completely.
So we certainly appreciate at Ben_Fred on Twitter. Be sure to give him a follow and be sure to share all his great articles that he puts out for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and catch him on KTRS. When do you on KTRS? Is it 6 or 7 or so? Or just you hit?
Yeah, I do McGraw, Guy Phillips show, Big Sports show. It's pretty much throughout the day. At different
Very
times.
nice.
Yeah.
I've been over there, brought comics to John Carney's show a few times. That's always,
Carney doesn't. He's like the one guy who doesn't have me on.
I think it's probably personal.
Now that I think about it, I didn't think about it before. But
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up to
you've
make
been
sure.
on. You've been on there, but I haven't.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, right?
Huh.
Well, do what you're going to do, buddy. Good luck.
Text Lisa right now.
Ask Carney about me. Tell him you know the Blue Lagoon.
Oh, boy.
That's all you have to say.
I don't
just
even know what
sounds
that
bad.
means.
So we
Just say that and then see where it goes.
we've got one subject, 2 different segments. Fair or foul today, eating prepackaged triangular cut gas station sandwiches. Email us, wall@weareliveradio.com. And if you're in St. Louis County today, check out Buzz's Wine Grill. That is the $10 gift certificate we're going to give away for the winner. Email those before, we'll say 9:45 today, Central Standard Time, of course.
Thank you.
More importantly, we've got a Traview. Travis, these are very important. This is probably the new direction of the show.
Yes.
We'll probably just eliminate the show, and you'll just review something
At this point, I
once a
think we're
week.
just going to be a YouTube channel where I just eat triangle cut sandwiches from gas station, and I'll probably get about 50,000 views.
I'd watch.
Do we have an intro?
We do. You ready? Travis, intro it.
It's time for the Traview.
Hold on, it didn't work.
Oh, are
damn
you
it. Okay.
kidding
Come
me?
on, Gardner.
You want to try it again?
Here we go.
Hold on.
Edit that out. Clip that out.
Okay, we can try that. Let's see.
This isn't live, right?
Okay, here we go. Let's try it again, Travis.
It's time for Fair Fouls. Oh, excuse me. It's time for We Are Live's
My God.
Traview.
Oh, it's not working.
Is this real?
It's not working.
Is this real?
This is actually bringing me back to
Yeah,
the
this
writer's
feels like
block
radio
days.
again. Yeah.
No, actually, I think I know what happened there.
Oh, there's an
Well, that's
actual
good.
audio
Chris
issue.
knows how to fix it. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
So are we waiting for the intro? What's happening?
Hold on 1 second.
Oh my God, he gets here an hour early.
Here's what happened. I'm going to make this brief
Can we
because
just
it's a
hear the
little
intro?
technical. The intro played.
Don't go inside.
Oh,
You
it
just
did.
couldn't hear it.
We couldn't
Oh,
hear
okay.
it. Did,
Yes.
the
Okay.
folks at home hear it?
Yes.
Okay,
Great.
cool. Okay.
This is actually what happened
This
with
is
Greg
exactly
Garcia.
what happened. Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Greg Garcia.
Right.
Hope you like San Diego, bro.
All right,
There
so
you go.
today we have decided to try the wedge sandwiches produced by the fine folks at Landshire Sandwiches. Where are they located, Chris?
I think like 5 blocks east.
They really
Go ahead,
are.
Gardner.
63102.
With what?
Are we not doing the intro? So
We
it's
did
played.
it. We
We
did
it
it.
already
talked
played.
over
I
it.
think you
Yeah,
did do
it played.
It played. It
God,
happened.
I don't know
Just
where
get
we're
over
at.
yourself.
How do I know more about what's going on than you do?
So we have the option of a chicken salad sandwich. We also have the chicken pepperoni
Ooh, that's
and
a good
salami on honey wheat berry bread.
Okay.
I'm a fan of
And there, of course, is the old reliable ham and cheese. So we're going to do my best to try view. I'm going
right
to
into the
open
mic.
this. Oh, I will.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's
So what's your strategy when choosing these kind of sandwiches, Ben? I mean, do you go for the Mountain Dew first and then pick a sandwich, or do you pair the sandwich
Yeah.
with
The
the
Mountain
Mountain
Dew.
Dew?
Well, I always go. If I'm going for the gas station combo, I always go sandwich first. The chips, I usually get the Fritos twists, the honey barbecue twists. Of
course. I
You
mean,
can
you're
only
from
really get them at a
Sedalia.
gas
Yeah.
station, and then depending on if it's a physical labor day, Gatorade, trying to stay healthy.
Right.
If it's more just a road,
try to
just,
stay
just road trip, you might go
Wait,
soda.
which one's he trying first?
That's
I am
chicken-
going with the
that's
chicken
chicken
salad.
boy.
So if I'm unable to finish
That
the
is-
rest of the
that
show,
is-
Well,
that
no,
is
I-
it's moist.
You guys
it
each
is
get a
moist.
wedge, I thought.
Oh yeah, you guys are sharing it.
Oh yeah.
okay, yeah,
So
you-
Ben, Fred,
You know, there's two there.
oh, there's two.
Come on, bro.
Okay,
Travis,
okay, here
what
we
the-
go.
this is great. So I'll commentate. This is Travis
Now go-
Sherrill and
now,
Ben
if you're just
Frederickson.
gonna try multiples, you got to take a bite right out of the middle. 'Cause
Out of
that's
the
your
middle?
best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's a strategy to it. Okay.
I have bitten to the sandwich.
How we feeling, everybody?
Oh, I'm getting queasy myself.
Yeah, this they go heavy on the watered mayonnaise. It looks like.
I mean, I didn't think I would be that hungry because it's like early, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you now, my mouth is watering.
This is Ben Frederickson from the Post-Dispatch. He covers sports. He's with the Cardinals. He does columnist work.
You didn't take a very big bite.
I did. I'm gonna laugh.
So are we Traviewing them as a whole,
Are you
or
gonna give
each
one? Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm about to try another one, man. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I feel like he's just pushing his way. This is not going to get a good booty review.
I'm telling you right now, that was a very wet sandwich.
Oh,
Isn't that it's supposed to? You don't want it to be dry.
That's true, but
South
was the
City
bread
Tone.
soggy?
the bread was very.
You got to kind of give the mouth like a once over with the tongue because you don't
Here,
want
wash it down with your coffee.
You don't you don't want a piece of celery like getting caught in a molar.
So
and these things are packaged like the CDs used to be in the mid '90s.
Nice.
These things are
Yeah,
very
yeah.
difficult to open.
Well,
$21 for a CD.
The key is you want to go for the one in the back. It's like milk. Go for
Got
the
it.
back
Yeah.
because it's going to be the
There's
freshest.
going to be the least amount of ashes from the dude who stocked it in there on it.
See, I worked
Got
at
it.
a gas station for a while.
How'd that go?
And it was in high school.
Better job, gas
It was
station
called
or
Petey's
post
It was
dispatch?
called Petey's Petromart.
Wasn't there a...
And I worked with a guy one of the guys I worked with accidentally deposited his weed in the bank in the deposit box one night. He
Nice.
got fired.
Okay.
The other guy got fired he was like voiding the lottery tickets to try to get winners.
Oh,
Like
seriously?
they didn't think that was going to get noticed.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
Missouri
and then
lottery.
another
There's a
guy,
system for
and then
that.
another guy I worked with actually broke in, kicked in the air conditioner to steal cigarettes.
Oh.
I was like the best employee.
I bet.
I
Wasn't
didn't
there
steal from
yeah.
the
a
company.
guy with a nickname or something there? when
Lucky.
you- Lucky,
Yeah,
that's
good.
it.
It was
Yeah,
a
it's
one-eyed veteran who would come in with a pocket knife and do scratchers on
course he
the
did.
counter while there was like a line.
Did he
behind
win?
Him. No.
Inappropriate name.
Chicken, pepperoni, and salami on
This
honey
is,
wheat berry bread. I want
This
to
is
meet
a lot.
Ooh,
See, this
honey
is
chef.
that's
That's
a
a lot
pretty
going on. That's
diverse.
looks good.
All right.
That's real.
Second one.
I don't like the salami, the little black things in it. I don't. I don't
He's
like
he's getting picky about his gas station sandwich. South City Tone has
Okay,
chimed
this is
in.
better. This is a
I've
little bit
been.
better.
He's wishing you the best of luck.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna die later.
You don't want to. The thing. The thing is, you don't want to look at it.
You don't want to look.
Why not?
Travis uses that in many facets and situations in his
Very,
life.
very true.
He just lights off.
You don't want to study it. You just want to eat it.
I'm not gonna lie. My
You want to
left,
say that again? clearly, loudly into the mic.
I'm not gonna
you
lie.
drop that? Give that a
My
drop.
left arm is getting numb. Is that normal when eating these?
I think so.
Okay.
I think, what if you finish them off with a 5-hour energy? Would that be more gas
fine.
station appropriate?
Did I make my review right now?
No,
one
you got
more.
one more. You
There's
got
one more. There's one more.
All right,
I
here we
love
go.
that. I
You've
love
never
that-
had one of these before?
In my
Chris, you
entire
need these.
natural
Oh, I've
born
had them.
life.
Yeah,
You want
yeah.
some?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I used to have them when I was drunk, and I believe that's the only appropriate time to have them.
Yeah, I guess so. Man, but if
The
you're
thing
drunk,
about
you
them
would
is,
go.
Like, they kind of give you, they have a hangover.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
You eat
and
them
that's
and you think, God, I'm full, I feel good, and then like 30 minutes later, you're like, the back of my throat feels weird.
who do you think? What do you think? Is it Bayer? Like, do you think Monsanto Bayer for whatever compound is in there that does that, or is that like a larger food corporate? Like, how does that
I
work?
ain't gonna put that on the Monsanto people.
All right, so we've
Sometimes
tried
you-
all three. So this is a classic, the ham and cheese, right?
And the ham and cheese is
Okay.
all right.
Now,
I
this
want to
is
know
weird.
what the I want to
more
know what
sensible.
the I want to know what the pig looked like that that Landshire got a hold of for these. Was it a good pig?
Not a bad piggy.
Okay, all
Now, this
right.
is interesting cheese because it appears to be solid, but then you bite it and it turns to liquid. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm not sure about the chemistry on that one.
okay, gotcha.
It's also the bread can get stuck to your mouth, and you got to use like a fork to get it
Goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
Okay.
You know what? Okay.
So we've tried it for the Traview.
We've gone
Ben
through.
Frederickson from the Post-Dispatch, Travis Terrell.
all right.
You dressed nice today. You came in.
did,
You were
I
ready to
did.
work. What do we have going?
I salute the hardworking middle class folks at Landshire who produce these products every day. God bless you. But that may have been the most disgusting, most ungratifying
It's a
sandwich
bad Traview,
in
huh?
the history of
Before you
triangle cut sandwich.
What that booty do?
Before you give your booties, Ben Fred, you're the guest Traviewer today. Do you have an opinion on this?
Oh, my stance is pretty clear. I'm a proponent of the triangle
That's not
cut
that's
sandwich.
fine.
Okay. Travis, your booty review.
This booty is flatter than Kesha's ass. I'm sorry, but this booty gets one booty.
Oh, so you don't.
Respect that ass.
So no respect for the
One
Landshire.
booty.
One booty. I ain't gonna lie, that chicken salad
much
sandwich is probably gonna be the end of me.
Yeah.
So much for the sponsorship.
Yeah, there
I was
goes
going to
my
say, I had a
salad.
big
kinda
pitch
like
for
the
them.
chicken salad. What is-
That's too bad. Well, we've got to
Yeah,
get
that's what
some.
you said on the phone last night. Oh, I like the chicken salad one. You probably shouldn't have started with the chicken salad.
No, I probably shouldn't have.
Maybe ended with the chicken
Yeah,
salad.
yeah. That's an insult to chickens and salad everywhere.
I did bring a Danish in if you need something to
Thank you.
wash
Oh, a
that.
palate-
down.
my
a
left
palate
hand-
cleanser.
Is
Bring
my
the-
left hand supposed to be numb?
Bring the
Kinda-
blood sugar back
You'll
up.
be like
Like
it'll
a
be
stinger.
like 4 p.m. today. You'll be like, what is that? Oh, it's gas station sandwich.
Ben, thank you so much for coming in. We know you've got a busy day of carting around and did you get those boots with your exit plan from the old station?
No,
he's got nice boots on today. Was that part of your was that part of your
No.
exit package?
No, the thing about cowboy boots is like guys got to get on board. Like they give you like another half inch.
Nice.
So
We're all looking
rock
for
'em.
that.
Trav, get in on this.
You know, we like inches.
Look out. Follow Ben on Twitter at Ben_Fred. Check out all his columns. He's a fantastic talent. You know we're going to have him back. We're excited about that. Check out the Mizzou podcast too.
Yeah.
With Dave Matter and you
Yeah,
two.
the Eye on the Tigers podcast, STL Today. It's on iTunes, all that good stuff.
Keep up
And,
the great work, brother. You're doing
thanks,
outstanding
man.
work at
Congrats
the
to you
Post-Dispatch.
guys.
Thank you. Appreciate
We're
it.
excited.
if you guys ever need to upgrade producers, I feel like it would make your product better.
Okay.
But, just a thought.
All right.
Okay, real quick, since
But,
you're going that route, sir.
Here, while you look at that, I'll
There we go.
the hayseed hack, Ben Frederickson. Before we go, I got to tell you about Tom Bannister. He's from Circa Properties. Why work with Tom? He's spent his life in St. Louis cultivating relationships, helping folks out. You can contact Tom Bannister, tom.bannister at circastl.com, 314-393-5386. That's Tom Bannister of Circa Properties. He's got a great background in customer service, sales, and could not be a better sponsor for us here on We Are Live. He'll also be sponsoring us at the Mardi Gras tent this weekend at 1860s. Shout out to Travis. Shout out to Ben Fred. Follow him on Twitter. Thanks so much for coming in, buddy. We're going to take a quick break. Back on the other side with Dr. Ed of Hillside Animal Hospital playing some dogs on film. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.